that's kind of the mindset I think you should have when making thumbnails.
How often do you change a thumbnail on a video? Is that something, do you usually just stick with one, or you try different ones?
Well, I think we get better at making thumbnails every year. So it's more, when I upload a thumbnail, I usually think it's good and I don't change it most of the time. But what happens is like 3 years later, I look back and I'm like, oh, that's a horrible thumbnail. And so it's usually like every 2 years, we just go back and update a lot of our older thumbnails just because they're terrible. Just with like the new knowledge we have and what we've learned. And funny enough, that actually usually does help quite a bit when we update the thumbnails on old videos. They usually do see a little bit of an uptick because they're just, if we take an old thumbnail where it's like seeing if whatever, like 100,000 magnets can stop a car, and it just looks terrible. And then with the new stuff, I know we zoom in a little bit so it's a little more visible and make things look better. Then magically it starts doing a little bit better because now people actually understand what it is, because I'm not as much of an idiot anymore.
In 10 years, YouTube's going to be bigger than television ever was for culture, in America at least, in my opinion. And so I think a lot of people underestimate that, and I don't think people really understand just how, like, to be one of the top creators on the biggest social media platform, and that will also be the biggest in 10 years during that whole time, like the amount of value and how crazy that is. Like, you don't need a network, you don't need to go through people. You just are. You can do whatever you want, and you can influence people how you want. It's just wild. It's mind-blowing, and you can leverage that to build businesses, or like do things like Beast Philanthropy or whatever. I think like people don't realize just how much influence the top YouTube channels have.
No one's ever going to do what I do better than me. Like, it's just not. It's not even humanly possible. Like, I reinvest every penny I make.
Yeah.
I work every hour I'm awake. I devote every atom in my brain to solving this. I hire the best people on the planet. I've been doing this for 14 years. And I think in decades, not years. So I'm going to be doing this for another 20, 30 years, not 2 or 3. So no, the next me isn't going to be me, because no one's going to do what I do better than me. It's not possible. If I thought someone was doing better than me, I'd just start sleeping less so I could work even more. Like, I'd figure it out. I don't give a
The barrier to entry to be you is extremely high.